In this video, we are going to be talking about the Epstein files. There's been a lot of information to come to light, given that there are 3 million documents that have been released. But I just wanted to give my take given on some information that I channeled through meditation. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I did not go through any of the files. I have seen a lot of reels and stories and things like that of people who have decided to go through the files. And thank goodness, this is why the internet has been so great. It's because there are people out there that will dedicate their time and energy to go through these things and to share it with the world. So they are contributing to society and to humanity in their own way, which I really appreciate. But I have not done that. I choose to sit in meditation and channel information and then share it with you. I have found that I can do this, and it I have been successful in helping people. And it's been very helpful within my own life as well. And I've gotten to a point where I have learned to trust the information that comes in. Now, that's not to say that I won't always be right, because I will be wrong. It's just a matter of time, because whether it's information that is misconstrued on my part, or if the energy doesn't match up, or whatever, I'm still on my own personal journey, but I'm going to share it with you because I think it will resonate with some of you. And if it does, then I just want you to take that information and to use it, because that's the whole point of me sharing it. So the first thing I want to mention about the Epstein files is that, of course, a lot of it has been redacted, and which means that there are way more celebrities and way more politicians, way more powerful people that are involved. I don't think we have still seen the effects of the full files, I guess. I mean, there's just a lot of documents to go through, so I don't think anyone has gone through all of them just yet, but there are a lot of people involved. Whether or not they're in these particular files is beside the point. Just know that whatever you learn from these files, you are only seeing not even half of it. There are people out there that are very relieved that their favorite celebrity or their politician isn't in the files, or if they are in the files, then it doesn't necessarily mean that they participated in some of the darker things that took place on that island. And that's fine, and that is also true. It doesn't necessarily mean that they participated in it, but there are a lot more that did. And there is a very good chance that if you still idolize celebrities or still idolize politicians, or if you are still on the side of a political party, that you most likely do admire somebody who has participated in these acts. And that's okay. It just is what it is. It's it's hard. It's hard to come to this realization. This is part of the awakening. We are in the great awakening right now. A lot of you who watch my content, who I very much appreciate, probably have already gone through this already. But then there are some of you who haven't and are starting to dabble in within the awakening, or starting to check out content of like a conspiracy theorist sort of vibe, and because you're wanting answers. And that is the unfortunate truth, is that there's a very good chance that you support somebody who has participated in these things. And so it's okay. We've all gone through it. It's heartbreaking, and it just is what it is. Now, I'm going to mention something. I'm going to mention a particular person, and it may or may not trigger you. But from what I've seen, just through my own meditation, right? So I haven't seen any documents, I haven't seen any proof, right? That's just not how I do my thing. I'll usually look for the proof afterwards to validate what I get, or I just wait for it. And so one person that I did see that participated is Um, Donald Trump, I know. And yeah, from what I have learned or from what I've heard is that he is in the files, but he didn't actually participate in any of the darker things. And that is just not what I have seen. But hear me out. I've talked about Donald Trump on my channel before, and I have mentioned how he is basically leading a revolution right now. And I mean, if you don't see this as a revolution, then I don't know. You can see it if you are not, you can only see it as a revolution if you either support him or you are not supportive of either party. Then I think you can appreciate the revolution within what is happening right now. But if you are against him and don't like him, then you will resist that narrative, I guess, or that perspective. And so it probably will feel good for you to hear that Donald Trump probably participated in the darker things that happened on that island. And if it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel sad, it it means that you're still attached to the events themselves or to what is happening right now. What I have to say about what goes on that island is that yes, there are very bad things that happen, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. But there are people who actively choose to participate in these things because they want the power. But then there are also people who have participated in some of these things because they were basically forced to and blackmailed in a sense. Because that's the way these things work. Is these darker rituals is what they really are recorded and you are sworn to secrecy. And this is basically how they keep you like under their claws. And so it is possible for people, celebrities, politicians to participate in these darker acts while also, in a way, being a victim at the same time. Whether you love or hate Donald Trump, okay, whatever your perspective is, I just want you to, if you even have one, if you have one, then I definitely want you to take a step back and just try to keep your mind open about all of this. Because that's what's really going to be important is that you keep an open mind. Because what's coming is, I mean, it's already happening, but there's going to be more stuff to come that is going to blow your mind if you don't already know what all this is for. So you can lead a revolution without necessarily being the good guy. You can help dismantle society and the way things have been structured for centuries and not necessarily be the good guy. And whether you think Donald Trump is a good guy or a bad guy, he is here to do a certain thing. And the thing is to dismantle everything. And I'd have to say, he's doing a bang up job. If you refuse to believe that he participated in the darker things, that's okay. And hey, who am I to say that that is the full on truth, right? Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm not right. Okay. And I'm totally cool with admitting that. I trust me. I will take being wrong all day long if it means it's not true. All day long. And this is the stance that I took during COVID too. Trust me, I don't want to be right because that sucks. That sucks to think that somebody that you respected did these things. Okay, because I've already been through that hole, that rabbit hole. But I want you to ask yourself, how is it that he was able to get this far and not participate in those things. Because the way that a lot of these A-list celebrities, like top politicians, top people that get into very powerful positions on the planet, they usually have to be a part of a club, which some would refer to as the Illuminati or the elites. Because if you weren't participating in them, if you were trying to expose them, they probably would have gotten rid of you in some fashion. Take Mel Gibson, for instance. He's been trying to talk about what's been going on in Hollywood for a while, and he got blackballed from Hollywood. People just didn't like him anymore. He disappeared. Or Corey Feldman, who has been talking about the pedophilia for a long time. He basically just became a drug addict, so he lost all credibility there. Think about all of the celebrities that just sort of went crazy, right? They lose credibility and you just don't believe what they're saying anymore because whatever comes out of their mouth is just pure insanity. And so for Donald Trump to get as far as he did, to the point of being able to even release these files in the first place, which you have to wonder, if the other party had won the presidency, would these files have been released? I don't think so. So two things can be true at once. It can be true that he may have participated in the darker aspects, but it can also be true that he's also trying to do the right thing by releasing them. Now, but it can also be true that he doesn't want to release the things that he was involved in. But it can also be true that he is trying to put an end to what's happening. So, a lot to digest there. Again, it's very polarizing and it's information that's very difficult to hear, let alone accept. So, I don't blame you if you disagree or whatever. That's okay. Another thing that we need to talk about is what's actually happening. A lot of us have already known that what's really happening are blood and sex rituals with children. That's what's really happening. All of the missing children in the world, which there are a lot, it's been for these rituals. And a lot of it is extracting adrenochrome, which is the adrenalized blood that comes from children. It can come from anybody, but it's more potent as a powerful substance when it comes from children. And especially children who are spiritually gifted. And there's a couple of reasons of why they particularly like those types of children. Some of it has to do with the essence. It's there's just like a light in them that they harvest and they feed off of. But also at the same time, it can create a trauma within these children so that it blocks their abilities. And it almost creates like a karmic loop that keeps them here and stuck and suffering. And as long as they're stuck in suffering, they can't reach their full potential as a spiritual being and therefore can't help elevate the consciousness of humanity. Because humanity is being ruled over right now. And that's coming to an end, obviously, because why else would all of this be happening? We're literally in the middle of the book of Revelations. The world is ending. Like the Mayan calendar, that ended in 2020, actually. And it's funny because when I made my COVID video, how I came to learn that was I learned that 2020 was actually the year 2012 in the Ethiopian calendar, which also followed the Mayan calendar. And the Mayan calendar ended in 2012. So that just basically kicked off the end of the world. So it's not a literal end of a planet, it is the end of the world as we know it. And so COVID kicked off the end of that world, the end of the medical system world, which is why people have lost faith in the medical system. Not everybody, but that started the questioning of things. And now we're moving on to the celebrity and political world, which is now coming to an end. Because now we're starting to see that the people that we have voted for and the people that we have idolized and supported, they've gotten to that place by doing certain things, and those certain things have been blood sex rituals, unfortunately. And I don't know if the files have, I think they have actually. I feel like someone has mentioned like the cannibalism acts and like the murdering of children in the files, I think. But that's what's actually happening. And if you can think of the darkest thing, the most gory, horrific horror movie that involved torture and sacrifice and murder and crimes against children, that's what's been happening. And your favorite celebrities and politicians are doing it. Now, the truth is that there are some that do it and they gain more power because of it, and they gain more money, and it's basically like joining the billionaire club. And not everybody, not everybody, but a great number of them, they do it because they enjoy it, and they enjoy the outcome of it. They enjoy the power. And then there are some that do it because they have been blackmailed, and they continue to do it because they don't want anything bad to happen to them or to their families. Because that's what will usually happen, is they'll come after your family and they'll start, taking them out. A really good example would be Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey tried exposing them years ago. He tried talking about the Illuminati. He tried talking about the government hiring celebrities to keep you entertained, when really it's not for entertainment. It's just to keep you distracted. And he literally talked about their symbolism. He talked about this symbol right here. I think he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he even looked at Jimmy and was like, "You know what I'm talking about." And what happened to him? I think like 3 months after that, his girlfriend committed suicide. And he ended up going to court because his girlfriend's family ended up taking him to court, trying to say that he is the one that supplied her with the pills that she overdosed on. I mean, it's when you try to expose them, they will come after you, but they're going to come after you in an indirect way, as more of like a warning. They're trying to send you a message that you have a gag order, basically. And that's when he basically went into seclusion. He kind of went crazy, right? Just got a little weird, went very private, started doing art, and then he slowly started to reemerge and started to act again. But that's what they do. And so, yeah, some of them participate for fun, but some of them feel like they're stuck. And so as this information comes out, it will be really important that we have a level of compassion for these people, because a lot of them really are victims. And you will be glad to know that there are some celebrities out there that have the intention of exposing them in the end. And they've just been waiting for the right opportunity. And he is a good example. He just did not, he was a little reckless with his exposure, and that's what happened. But Kanye West has been trying to say it, and um, I don't think that who we see now is actually Kanye anymore, unfortunately. What I am happy to report is that Michael Jackson has now been vindicated. After all these years of these allegations towards him, I will say from what I have channeled, that he also participated in some of these darker things, but he also was trying to put an end to it. And it's and so that has been that's come to light in these files. So that's awesome because from what I've seen, Mike, and it's true about Michael, and it's actually true about a lot of these celebrities, is that they actually have a light soul. Their soul is actually of the light, but they've been sort of coerced and trapped in this system because that's what they like to do. They go after the lighter ones. So at least that's some good news. Now, what is going to be coming next? What I believe will be coming next is the true disclosure of the nature of our reality on this planet, which is going to be the disclosure of aliens. Now, what does this have to do with aliens? This is preparing us to be exposed to the fact that there are interdimensional beings that are residing on this planet who feed off of humans. And so these things have to be strategically exposed to humanity for those who have not gone through the awakening and who have not seen reality for what it actually is. It has to be strategically breadcrumbed to us, because if they were to just expose humanity with all of this information, it would just break people's brains. They would have a psychotic break, and it would just be too much. And so that's why these things have happened the way that they have. When it comes to Hollywood, the first thing has been individuals saying things here and there, right? Mel Gibson, Corey Feldman, some of the other child Disney stars that sort of went crazy and now are on, Britney Spears. Like, okay, so that has been a breadcrumb. The next breadcrumb after that was Harvey Weinstein and all of his sexual abuse allegations and the Me Too movement. Okay, that was the next breadcrumb. The next breadcrumb after that was, Chrissy Teigen and her weird tweets about children and just other like weird pedophilia things, and then eventually the exposure of adrenochrome. And then there were protests in downtown Hollywood for adrenochrome specifically, and that never made the news. And I remember that because I wanted to participate in that particular one, but it was in LA. I wasn't living in LA at the time, but I live streamed it, and there were a lot of people downtown banging on the windows or the doors of CNN saying, "Save our children, save our children." And none of it got aired on any news channel. And it's just funny because if it was just a conspiracy, then why wouldn't they just air it? If it wasn't real, why wouldn't that just become a story? Like, wow, look at these crazy conspiracy theorists that think adrenochrome is real. Like, oh my gosh, they're so nuts. Like, here, they're at our studio right now. Why wouldn't they just make fun of it? They didn't touch it at all. So that's a breadcrumb. Now we have Epstein. Okay, that's another breadcrumb. Now we are starting to learn that not only has there been sexual assault, and now we're talking human trafficking, now we're talking children. The next breadcrumb is going to be the blood sex rituals for the mainstream media, which I think is, I think that some of that is in the files. So that breadcrumb is starting now. And right now, the only way that humanity is going to be able to accept this is if it comes from a spiritual or a religious perspective. And so the majority of humanity can accept, not lightly, but they can accept that there are people that perform these rituals for magic and for power and for spiritual and religious reasons, okay? They can wrap their mind around that. So that will be the next breadcrumb. That breadcrumb will lead us to the next breadcrumb, that the real reason that they do this is because they're not human. I know, it's a lot. This is why disclosure is also happening at the same time. This is why there are more and more people having experiences with seeing UFOs, seeing aliens. They're having them on an individual level. They're all going through their own personal awakening right now. This is also why there are other people that are coming online, like literally on the internet, to talk about aliens. Chris Bledsoe, that guy, his book is excellent, UFO of God. And he's just this Southern guy who was, I think he was Baptist, and he has, his own experience with aliens and orbs and things like that. And he ends up working with the government and the CIA, and now he has become famous in that community. And he's really exposing. I mean, you can go to his property apparently, and you can experience it for yourself. And so the alien disclosure is happening right now to also prepare us for the non-humans that already exist on planet Earth that are harvesting humans, because we are going to need them as allies in order to put an end to the crimes against humanity. We will eventually learn that we are aliens, that a lot of us come from the cosmos and are closely related to other interdimensional species out in the universe. And this is probably why I was prompted to make my video about the Lyrans, because the Lyrans, they're coming. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you didn't watch that video, it was my last one, but my my partner, I was talking to him about how I channel the Lyrans and whatever, and he was like, "You mean the Thundercats?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He pulls up this old cartoon. It looks like it's from the early 90s, and it's called Thundercats. It's a literal cartoon about an alien species that are a feline bipedal species whose planet gets destroyed by I don't know what they're called, but they're by the lizard aliens, and then they end up coming to Earth. And it's just so funny. And I was like, we watched a couple of episodes and I literally started to cry. And I was like, wow, they have been trying to tell us this whole time. It's just wild. So, anyway, the Lyrans are coming. The darker aspects of what's happening right now is very hard to accept. And it's hard for people to see this. And I get it. But just know that this is all in preparation for a greater awakening. Like we are evolving. We like everything is about to change. And just like how the medical system is being dismantled, just like how the political system and the celebrity system is starting to be dismantled, the religious system is about to be next, if it hasn't already. But with the realization that aliens are real, religion is definitely going to have there's going to be a lot of questions, and they are going to have the answers. And when they don't have the answers, when they just say like, oh, they're all demons or whatever, then people are not going to be able to trust that system anymore. I know that this is a lot, and it's it's like, what are we supposed to do? Well, all of this has to break down. Everything has to be dismantled. Everything. Your reality has to break, because it's the only way we are going to realize that we are in a matrix. The best place to be is in a place of not knowing if anything is the truth. Because when you realize that you can't trust anything, it means that you can't give your power away anymore. There's no one to give your power to anymore. And so what else are you going to do? You're going to have to go within. You're going to have no choice but to find God and not hear about it from someone, not hear someone talk about it, not have someone tell you what God is or what reality is or what life means. You have to go find it yourself. I was once told by an older gentleman who was retired from the military, and he says, "There ain't no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole." As in the middle of a war, when you're in a foxhole, shielding yourself from bombs and open fire, you are praying that you don't die. So there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. Well, we're in the middle of that war now, and like things are going to get so messed up that you just have no choice. And that's where people are going to start evolving spiritually. And when we get to a point where we cannot accept anything that is happening to us anymore as a human race, that is when karmically they can't do these things anymore. Some people are worried that the crimes that have been committed are going to go unanswered, that people are not going to be held accountable, they're not going to get punished. And they will be. They will be. We've got to expose it first. And we're not even close to done. We're just getting started. So save yourself the time and the energy and the confusion and the anxiety. Watch the things, sure, but just brace yourself and do it in a way that is in moderation. And when you're done, start meditating and go within and just start asking for clarity, for empowerment, trust in your own intuition, trust in the process, faith that we are headed in the right direction, because we are. It is a very exciting time to be alive right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my content. Thank you for keeping an open mind. And if you've made it this long through this video, then I really appreciate you being here. I'm really lucky to have you. We're lucky to have each other within this community. Again, we are the ones that are taking the charge of getting ourselves to that next dimension. And that is an honor. It's a real honor to be called to do this work in a human form on this planet, because it's not easy. But pretty soon we're going to have galactic friends that will be assisting us soon. But I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.